You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Hello and welcome to Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a purple belt who trains at November Tango BJJ, located in Great Bend, Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Taylor.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, the pleasure is all mine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Getting some cold weather heading our way, so I'm not looking forward to that, but we get to train tonight.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little nippy up here in Detroit too, so trust me, we know.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right, man. Well, let's without further ado, if you want to, formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Okay. Yeah, well, like you said, my name's Nick Taylor. I'm a purple belt. I've been so for right about a year now. Training here in Great Bend, Kansas. It's a pretty small town, kind of in the middle of nowhere. So how we got here, started out, I would say probably around 2009. My buddy came up to me and he's like, man, I got this book. You got to check it out. So I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. Well, it was Eddie Bravo Jiu-Jitsu Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you want to go through this book? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, he had a stepson that worked at a carpet store. So we got a bunch of old carpet padding and used carpet and threw it down in his basement. And pretty much my jiu-jitsu started from that book. We just got together and got to working on that. At the time, there was nowhere within an hour of here that we even knew about. So for probably 6 straight months, we just did jiu-jitsu out of the Jiu-Jitsu Unleashed book. And then around that time, we ended up finding a place in Hutchinson, Kansas, which is about an hour away from here. And it was a no-gi only place, so that kind of fit in with what we were doing. And got training on that. And I'll never forget the first day I walked in there. Ernest Bell, the guy who owns it, he was like, so you got any prior martial arts experience? And, I was completely new to jiu-jitsu, nothing. I was like, yeah, I'm a Taekwondo black belt. He's like, all right, man, let me know how that works out for you. Let me tell you, it didn't work out for me.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, from there, we were just, we were going probably once every other week to Hutch to train. And then gas got kind of outrageous and life took over and stopped for a little while. And then it was probably 2013. My friend Dan that I got started with got killed in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So, yeah, so that kind of set me back a little ways. And then I got to where I was going. I was kind of hopping around. There's a place in Salina, which is about an hour and a half. And then there was a place in Dodge City, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from me. So I was just kind of bouncing all over the place. I'd go, if I wanted to do no-gi, I'd go to Hutch. If I wanted to do gi, I'd go to Salina or Dodge City. And just never really had a home, never really did anything. And then one day I got to talking to one of the ladies in my church, and she is the director of the Central Kansas Dream Center here in Great Bend. And they have, it's like an inpatient program for people with life-altering addictions.
Okay.
And they were finding out that, like, as people got in there, and started kind of getting off the things they were addicted to, they were putting on a lot of weight. And she came up to me. She's like, hey, I've heard you do some martial arts. Would you be interested in teaching? And keep in mind, at this time, I'm still like, I don't know, 4 or 5 year white belt, because I've never really been anywhere, just been kind of going all over the place. But I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. So got in there and got started working with some of the people in the program. And I got to where things just kind of didn't work out. Schedules conflicted a little bit and they couldn't make it to classes anymore. So it would have probably been 2017. I had the opportunity to open it up to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been going strong ever since then, teaching. So yeah, I started teaching as a 4-stripe white belt, which is kind of, taboo, but there's nobody within an hour from me. So
Right.
jiu-jitsu will push on.
Definitely.
But yeah, I did that for a while and then ended up, we had a guy, he was a brown belt at the time. He's a black belt now. His name's Travis Turnus. He came and worked with me and worked with us. He's the one that promoted me to blue belt. And then he ended up moving away to Wichita and kind of just out here, floundering at blue belt for a while. And one of the guys I had trained with in Dodge City, who was a purple belt at the time then, had recently got his black belt. And I got hooked back up with him, and he's been working with us really consistently, at least monthly. He'll come up and work with us. And it was under him and his instructor that last December I got my purple belt. So that's kind of my journey in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, everyone has a unique journey. It's crazy how you I guess be drawn to it, or like how jiu-jitsu like just kind of like nudges its way into your life in such an awkward way.
Yeah, it was. I had seen the original UFCs. Like I knew jiu-jitsu was cool, but it was never really on my radar because we're kind of so isolated. We're just a small town in the middle of Kansas. I never really thought I would have the opportunity. And I honestly don't even know where my friend came up with that book. But, the minute we started doing that, I was hooked. And that book, it starts out, I don't know if you're familiar with the half guard lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, first and foremost, you got to master the half guard lockdown to be able to get into rubber guard and all this. So I was spending like hours and hours and hours working lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because that's kind of became my home base now. Like if I'm getting overwhelmed, or if I'm just needing to rest, or maybe just wanting to punish somebody, I go straight to lockdown and start working from there. But it's something you probably would never learn in an academy anywhere, especially not the first thing you would learn. But I just, I figured out the control from there. I figured out how to use it. And I don't know, that book, that first day me and him got going, I knew that was something that's going to be in my life for a while.
Yeah, that's what's up. Like, I don't think I've watched the first UFC. No. This is after. I think this is like, I've heard about I heard about UFC, heard the name Royce Gracie and whatnot. So I was like, know very, very, very little about, mixed martial arts in general, but more so like jiu-jitsu. Never heard of it. I always heard the, like the videos of like, Royce Gracie, practice jiu-jitsu, and I would mimic every time I was, his name would come up, and that's like literally the only thing I knew, but I never knew like the extent of what jiu-jitsu was,
Right. Yeah.
So until like I actually started training, when I started training 5 years ago, when I found out like, oh, this is jiu-jitsu. And then now when I go back and watch and read all these, reading all these books and, watching, like replaying the first few UFCs with Royce Gracie, and it's like,
everything makes sense.
Everything makes sense now. especially, like our master, Joe Moreira, he's Brazilian, so he got that thickness, and that's how he introduced, Joe Moreira, practice the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and just hearing him talk, because he taught himself English, but, just hearing him talk with that thick accent, and you can still understand everything he's saying. But, yeah, but it's like once I finally found out what Jiu-Jitsu was, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have caught on to this, like, a lot earlier.
Oh, my goodness, totally. Man. Yeah, if I could have started it, like, 10 years sooner and been consistent with it, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I cannot either, because I necessarily didn't. It was not many jiu-jitsu schools in Detroit. Me growing up, everything was karate, kickboxing, taekwondo,
Right.
When I got a little bit older, that's when I started seeing a little bit of MMA start to happen. But yeah, it was just mainly like karate, which was cool. I tried it, but I don't know. I guess it just really didn't appeal that much to me.
Right.
As much. I had friends who did it, and they made it seem cool and all, but I was like, I don't want to get punched.
Yeah, totally.
that was like my only thing. I was like, man, I don't want to get punched in the face, because as kids, you watch kung fu movies and you try the moves out, and I didn't been kicked in the face. I done kicked cousins in the face, and it's like, it's not. I don't want to actually do that to somebody, man. But
Yeah. That was a lot the same here. Like, I'm gonna show my age here a little bit, but when I was a kid, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came out. And like when I saw them, I'm like, Dad, I gotta be a ninja.
Oh yeah.
Like, it just consumed my life. And there was a Taekwondo school here in town at the time, and he got me in it, and that's how I got started in martial arts. But yeah, it's like just so day and night, right? Like I enjoyed Taekwondo, but I lived jujitsu.
Man, I'm telling you. Like, I don't think if I would have done any other sport or martial art would I've dove so deep into it like I do jujitsu.
Right.
Cause like now everything has to be jujitsu.
Yeah.
Like from conversations to like what I do on the daily basis to like even my clothes. Like I have to have something like jujitsu related on at all times.
For sure.
I don't know why.
Totally get that.
I don't know what's the obsession about it, but that's how it is.
I think part of it, it's just like raising your flag up, because then you never know, somebody's going to see your shirt who might do jujitsu, or you might see somebody with a jujitsu shirt, and then you're just like, bam, you got a conversation.
Yeah, and that happened a lot. Like I was this was back when I was a blue belt, and I had on this hoodie that I made, and it had like the jujitsu kanji on the front, and on the back it said jujitsu versus the world or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I wore this jacket religiously, and I hate that I can't find this jacket because I love that jacket. But yeah, one guy walked up to me and he was like, oh, you train? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, because I noticed the symbol on your jacket. Me and my brothers used to do it and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, okay. And we slapped bumped in the middle of the mall. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's what's up.
I was like, wait a minute. We going? He's like, oh, no, man. I haven't practiced. I haven't trained in years. I was like, okay. Yeah, you got to let me know, man. You just can't just throw that out there like that.
Well, man, especially because jiu-jitsu don't work in the streets, it's kind of dangerous.
It's very dangerous. That's the thing. Like, this doesn't work outside in the streets, but yes, it does.
Absolutely.
If trained right.
Yep.
So do you compete?
Yes.
Okay, so how's that been?
I love to compete. I'm not a super great competitor. Mm-hmm. I'm a very competitive person, but the way we currently have it, we train 2 days a week, and I just don't have the mat time that a lot of the guys my rank have, but I don't miss competitions. The first one we had, I don't know, there was one in Wichita last month, and it was the first one I didn't compete because I had enough people going that I just dedicated my time to coaching. And that was the first time that happened. And honestly, that was so amazing. Like, I left there completely frazzled. It's one thing being responsible for yourself, but when you're responsible for all these other people, and like you're sharing their victories, you're sharing their losses. And it's just a completely different world. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of that, but I still love to compete.
Mm. And it's weird that I got bit by this competitive bug so late in my jiu-jitsu journey. I won't say late, but like why wait till a brown belt to start competing?
Right.
And Yeah, man. It's like I did. I talked about this before. I did one last year. No, I'm sorry. I keep saying last year, but it was earlier this year. That I did one. Didn't go so well. It is what it is. I don't think anyone's first time ever really was like that glorified, win. I got destroyed.
Right.
Neither here or there. But yeah. So as time went on, I was looking at it and I was like, man, you know what? I can see myself maybe doing another one. I just kind of like toss in the air, like, yeah, well, it is what it is. I'll do another one. If I do, I do. I don't know.
Right.
But now it's like I got one in January.
Nice.
I got one in May.
Right on.
And I think I signed up for another one that's like late November. So I was like, all right, dude, what the hell? Like, all right, slow down, Turbo. Like let's get our feet wet first. But no, man, I'm just so eager to like get back out there and
Right.
really really like see like, okay, my first time I did one just to see how it is. This one I put a lot of more effort in my training and conditioning. Let's see how this one goes. And then by the more likely I will be doing another one. If there's one sooner than May, I'll probably find it. But May would be my second one, and that one I'm gonna just try to see. I guess full like fight camp. Take train as much as I can on the mats. Get myself really really in shape and whatnot. Cause right now, like my training partner, well, I guess you want to say he's my coach now for competing. He's like, yeah, you gotta start rolling more. It's like,
Right.
all right, no, understand. So he's like, yo, they do I think it was like for Grappling Industries, I think is for brown belt 4-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, so that's all we doing is 4-minute rounds. When you roll 4-minute rounds. So it's just like, oh shit. It's like, oh man, 4-minute rounds, and it's been kicking my ass, but I do feel myself getting a lot better because like yesterday, we had our class, and then I think we rolled maybe a good like 4 or 5 matches after class, and I was still feeling good. Like I was tired, of course, but I was like, man, I can do another 4 or 5-minute rounds.
Yeah.
I need a minute, but I wasn't like I wasn't as dead as I usually be. So I'm pretty excited to see how January goes, man.
That's awesome. Is it there in Detroit?
Yeah, it says Detroit, but it's in Wayne, Michigan. It's like
Oh, okay.
30 minutes away from the airport, from the airport. So that's where they usually have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first competition. It's cringeworthy now that I look back on it, but that was a time when I was traveling. I was doing one class every other week, and because I kind of cut my teeth, off the 10th Planet book, and I had been YouTubing everything Eddie Bravo was doing. I had got the Mastering the Twister DVD set, or no, it was actually Mastering the Twister. And so the Submission Challenge, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're kind of growing throughout the Midwest, but it's run by Derek Stewart, the guy that owns 10th Planet Omaha. Well, they came to Wichita. So I'm like, I'm signing up. It's a complete EBI rule set. I think for white belts, it was like 6 or 8-minute round. And here I am training once every other week. And I got a grappling dummy. And the only thing I trained on this grappling dummy was like twister side control to truck to calf slicer. Like I just had in my mind, this is how it's going down. Like there's no other way this is going to end up. I was so wrong. I got the floor mopped with me.
Oh man.
But it was a great experience, and it kind of gave me the bug, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Like I keep trying to. I'm gonna have to try again, but like I'm trying to get in touch with the guy who I did my first tournament against. Because he's not necessarily on social media, but I did like relay the message to his head instructor. So hopefully, I can get him on soon. But yeah, man, it's like the way that first match went, I was just like, man, I intentionally signed up for this. Like I did this on purpose, like
Right.
because I've been to tournaments, I've seen tournaments online. Like I said, I've been to a couple, and I didn't realize like the higher in the rank you get, the thinner the brackets be.
Yeah.
So it's like I went there. It was for tap cancer out.
Okay.
And, so it was there. Obviously, it was like a lot of kids there first, and then like some of the adults was there. So I started seeing some of the adults show up, and I'm like, okay, who's going to be in the purple belt division? Because when I signed up, it was like, I think it was like our bracket maybe had like 12 people.
Okay.
But it ended up being just me and one other guy because some of the other guys didn't show, so they had to like split the bracket weird. So it was just the best 2 out of 3 match. But before then, I'm just looking at people like, okay, this guy looks like he might be a brown belt, so I'll keep an eye out on him. Turns out he was a blue belt, so I was like, oh well, shit. And I saw another guy and I was like, okay, he might be, but nope, he was white belt. So I was like, all right, come on now. And then like the biggest guy in the room took his jacket off and grabbed his gi. I was like, shit.
It had to be you.
It just had to be you. Big guy, big strong guy. I was like, of course, man. Of course. But yeah, he got the takedown, got the submission easily. And his instructor pulled me to the side like, hey man, you did great. I'm like, what? It's like, this match was like 10 seconds, man. What are you talking about? He's like, no, man. It's just everyone at the gym, he gives them trouble. So I was like, all right, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
But then later found out that this dude was he used to play professional football, and he's been like competing for like the last 8+ years.
Oh man.
So I was like, all right, I don't feel too bad. Right. I don't feel too bad. I was like, man, if this is what I have to compete at ultra heavy, yeah, no, we got to drop this weight all the way down. like I gotta give myself a fighting chance here, man.
Man, there is nothing more deceptive than walking around a competition before everybody puts their gis on. Like, you don't know who's who, what's what. It's just constant sizing people up, trying to figure out who you're going with.
Yeah, but the weird part is, it feels like you're the only person that's doing it.
Right.
Because everyone just like, chilling, talking and whatever. But you're like just eyeing the whole room like, yeah, who I got to kill? Or who's going to kill me?
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you, though, I've never met a more, I guess, friendly, for lack of a better word, scene, like as far as competitive sports. I have so many friends I've made after I've competed with them, win or lose. But it's like everybody's so ready to just get in there, congratulate you, even maybe talk you through what happened. It's been such an amazing community. And that's part of what brings me back to competitions. Just meeting so many people from so many places.
Yeah. I mean, doing this podcast, for example.
Right.
I've done over 40 interviews so far.
Wow.
And yeah, just the amount of people that I've met, just doing this alone.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people from Spain, UK, just all over the world, just being brought together for this one particular thing, which is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
It's very, very amazing, man. And I love it. And I'm so happy with myself. I was like, you know what? I was bouncing with the idea of starting a podcast, and it's like, okay, let's make it a jiu-jitsu podcast. But I'm like, okay, what could you possibly talk about with jiu-jitsu? But then it's like, well, when I can't remember the page on Instagram that I saw the video from, because I talked about this before. It was a lady explaining about her son who got, I think he was in an accident. He died in an accident. I'm not 100% sure. But she was just basically saying how like jiu-jitsu helped her with her depression and, dealing with the loss of her son and all this other stuff. And I was like, dang, that's pretty dope. And I was like, man, I would like to talk to somebody like that,
Yeah.
And then I just, just going through Facebook and looking at different groups and just saying, just people just kind of like, just saying like, oh man, I'm so happy I started training and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I was like, man, maybe I should just do one where people just talk about their jiu-jitsu journey. And here we are.
Heck yeah. That's amazing.
And here we are.
I'm going to tell you, I haven't missed an episode you've posted yet. And like, I love the podcast. It's just, it's such an honor to be able to be on it. And like you said, just, where else on the planet would I be talking to some guy I don't know from, halfway across the country or whatever about this one thing that we have in common.
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
And everybody come on and they say the same thing. It's like, from like, especially the people who have never dreamed of being on a podcast.
Right.
It's like, I'm not, there's like, I've never been on one. What do I do? Like, what do I talk about? Well, you talk about jiu-jitsu. Like, this is what this is about. You talk about jiu-jitsu. And it's like, do you have like questions for us? I'm like, yeah, we'll see. So
Right.
Give nobody no time to prepare. It's just, I'm like, nope, I want to keep it organic.
Yeah.
Like, because if I give you a list of questions, you want to try to like, give your best detailed answers. Like, nope, right. None of that. But everybody who came on, everyone started off shaky, but as time went on, it's like it just turns to a normal conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, how can you not talk about it?
Right. Because it's like, yeah, like you said, we are complete strangers. I would never known you unless, one of your students introduced, like, hey, my instructor, he would love to be on the show too. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Send him on and look, look what happens,
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to hearing Ed's interview. But when he told me he was on there, I'm like, man, that's sick. He's like, bro, you should reach out to him. I'm like, oh man, nobody's gonna want to talk to me. He's like, do it. So I did it, and here we are.
Yeah, because he told me, he's like, yeah, man, my instructor, I told him I was gonna be on here and blah blah blah, and you should talk to him. I was like, dude, I'll talk to anybody who wants to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Cause like cause I recorded Ed's episode, but it didn't really go the way he kind of wanted it. So he just messaged me like, hey, can we do this again? I was like, sure, okay. We can do it over.
Right on.
So, yeah, it was pretty fun because I think he messaged me afterwards. It was like, man, now that the episode is going, I got so much stuff to talk about now. I was like, you want to do it over, man? He's like, yes. I was like, all right, dude, we can do it over.
I love that guy, man. He's got so much to talk about. Man, he has seen so much just in the sport and everything. He's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome, man. I kind of like message him back, every now and then, just keep up a touch. But I've been trying to keep up a touch with everybody, so yeah, man. Definitely love to hear the feedback because I got people message me all the time about like, man, this episode was the the best episode you did, and then they come back the next week like, all right, correction. This one was pretty good too. I was like, they're all good, man. They're all good. We got, it's coming down the pipeline that's like really, really interesting and really deep. But all in all, man, it's been very, very interesting seeing how not only jiu-jitsu brought them a new meaning to life, but molded the life that they currently have and just got them out of so many bad situations. Personally, and I can personally say the same thing too, man. So it's been an honor and a blessing talking to you guys, and I feel like the lucky one, even though it's my show. I feel like, yo, man, I'm so excited. I'm doing a show with Nick tonight. It's like, who? Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it, man. He's a good guy. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's mutual, man. I'm super excited to be on here.
Man, yeah. So what else is there? Anything else like jiu-jitsu that's going on with you right now, man? Like, like this with the school or whatnot?
We're just kind of went through a little bit of a growth phase here recently. There for a while over the summer, we were, I don't know, running maybe 6, 8 people a night. And here just in the past couple months, we've been up around 15, really consistently. So
That's awesome.
getting a lot of new people. We have a guy actually here. I think he'll be here a couple more months. He's a purple belt from Iowa, but he works with the National Park Service, and he's stationed here to work at Fort Larned for a while. So we've actually kind of split it up. I've started taking just all the new people working basics. He's taking the people who have been around longer, and just working some more advanced stuff with them because I figure they're going to be hearing my voice from a long time. I'd rather have them get a fresh look at something, maybe find something I might not teach them, and then just work with all the new people because it really hit home. I kind of like to do a theme for the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think maybe it was last month or something. I was doing rubber guard for the whole month. And I got like 5 new people in here, and their first introduction to jiu-jitsu is rubber guard. And I'm like, maybe I should back this up a little bit. Maybe we should split things a little bit, take it, kind of take it slow. And so it's been that way for about a month or so now, and seems to be doing really good. We had, I don't know how many people recently, probably at least 5. They'll start, and then a competition will come around, and then within like a month of their starting, they're jumping into competition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really cool to see. Just the hunger for people around here. It's like when I started it out, I was kind of on an island. I didn't even know how to go about finding people. It's like, how do you explain jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah.
Great Bend has a huge wrestling scene, like high school and under. So, it's like, the closest way I come up with it is just like it's wrestling with joint locks and submissions.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's finding those people and getting them to show up. It took a while to get some traction. And 2 of my blue belts now, well, one just moved away, but he's back this week for the holidays. They've been with me pretty much since I've been able to open it up to the public. They both started at 16, both wrestling at the time. One was a lifelong wrestler, and they just took it and ran. And it's so cool to see a wrestler. They have such positional awareness and so great body control.
Mm-hmm.
When it clicks in their brain how to use that with jiu-jitsu, it's like that's an instant beast.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem to solve. And to be able to watch these young guys come up from that and come through wrestling, and now they're both 1-stripe blue belts in jiu-jitsu, and it's just been really amazing to see their growth, see the transformation. And and now we got so many new people. It's like a continual thing. It's catching on, and I just love it. There's been times, I've thought it's like those little fleeting moments, like, what am I doing? Why am I putting all my time and effort into this?
Mm-hmm.
And if it was just me going to an academy somewhere, it might've been, okay, I'm going to fall off for a month or whatever. But when you got these people here now, and they're hungry, and they're wanting it, and then you go and you get to see that, it's like, okay, I'm an idiot, get that out of my head. I'm not stopping this.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
have those moments all the time, man. It's just like I would be sitting there like, dude, what am I doing? Why am I putting myself through so much pain and, body aches for what? And I just be so mad at myself. But then I'm walking in the gym like, all right, I'll figure it out later. But until then, we about to hit these mats.
Yeah. I mean, it's really one of the only places in the world where like everything's on hold. You can have all these ideas about yourself and what you would do and what you wouldn't do. But when you're standing there staring eye to eye with that person in front of you, and that your only option is to submit or get submitted, Like all the BS flies out the window.
Yeah.
You have to be completely in the moment. You can't be thinking about how your day at work was, or what's going on in your life. It's just the only thing I've found really that just can get me in the moment and keep me there. That 6 minutes that you're rolling, like that's all you can focus on. And to me, that's the freeing part of jiu-jitsu to me, I guess. It's like it doesn't matter what happened before I step foot on those mats.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone, And yeah, that's kind of what jiu-jitsu has been for me. It's just been a way to just clear my head, just get everything out of it and get in the moment and try to survive.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. Like you get out there and you do your best to live a little longer.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so kind of like backtracking what you were saying about like, opening up a school, getting bodies and, getting bodies on the mats. And yeah, that I can say that is, kind of like by far the most difficult thing to do. Is like you said, trying to convince someone to like not only give you their time, give you their money and their body to a sport they know nothing about.
Right.
Like you can kind of be like, yeah, I teach karate or I teach boxing. People kind of got an idea from that point on. Like as soon as you say the words, they're like, okay, yeah, I don't want to get punched. I don't want to get kicked. So no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, well, I try to explain to people, what jiu-jitsu is. And it's like, okay, like, what is it? It's like, well, I don't know. Like,
right.
I don't know what to tell you what it is, but it's just, I just like, it's grappling. It's just, you don't want to try to throw like too many big words or like, scary things out. Like, it's like strangulation, joint manipulation, blah, 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 blah. And they like, what? So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to explain it to you. The best thing I can say is come try it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come try it, see how you like it, and then we'll just go from there. That's the best way I can try to get you in these doors.
For sure.
So,
and yeah, it's like it's got to the point now where I'm just like, okay, if I got a new person come in, we'll go through the first class of the night, and then I'm just like straight there to talk to them. I'm telling them like, okay, so this is a marathon. I said, if this is something that you think you want to do, like what you've done here tonight stirs something in you to make you think this is something you could pursue, make up your mind now that you're not going to quit for a year and then talk to me.
Right.
Because I mean, really, jiu-jitsu is so deep and it's constantly getting deeper with, people are so innovative and everything's evolving. That's realistic. In a year's time, maybe you can see the basis of jiu-jitsu. And I don't feel like people can make an honest decision before that.
No.
I mean, if that, I'm still I don't even know how many years in now, and I'm learning new things, and I'm thinking like, holy crap, how have I survived this long?
Man, I'm telling you, it's such a weird thing because, I've been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years, and there's still moments where I'm like, man, what the hell is I'm doing? Like, just like I could be in the middle of a technique, like, wait, hold on, slow down. It's like I should know this stuff, but at the same time, there are moments where I'll see a technique once, and I'll be able to like break it down so fast. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's always a constant evolving thing. And that's like the conversation I had with my wife because she just got back into training earlier this month. Okay. And she's like, she's just kind of like, she'll have her moments where she can, she'll get the technique down, and then some moments where she can't, and so she just kind of get discouraged, and she's like, I don't know if this is for me anymore. And I was like, all right, look, you kind of have to look at jiu-jitsu a little bit differently than a fresh pair of eyes, because you've been training for almost a year, but then you took off a year. So you
Right.
can't go in with the same mindset of what you already know because you're going to forget it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I say if you give it a hard, consistent month of not missing class, you give your all, I promise you'll find what you thought you were missing in jiu-jitsu, and you'll fall in love with it again. I promise you.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
she's been going strong, man. She's been going strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny, but it's weird at the same time. Being an assistant instructor on top of my wife training, so it's like I try to work with her at the same time. It's like, okay, I can't be her husband right now. I have to be her instructor. And the same thing that goes with my daughter. Like, I'm not your dad right now. I'm your instructor.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes that line gets very, very blurry in some situations, but it comes with the territory,
Yeah, for sure. So, is it looking like there's going to be a family of competitors? Do either of them have any want to compete, I guess?
So my daughter, bless her little soul, she's 7,
Okay.
and so I just kind of randomly asked her the other day. I was like, "Hey, you want to compete?" She's like, "What do you mean? Like roll like you do in adult class?" I was like, "Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, just for kids." And she's like, "Okay." So I was like, "Oh shit," because I'm like, I don't know, I couldn't decipher that. Okay, I'm like, okay, is it an okay that you want to do it? Is it an okay because you just saying okay? Like, what is this okay? Like, I don't know. You gotta give me something. She's like, yeah, I want to compete. I'm like, all right. So I was like, all right. So after what I think I'm gonna do, my wife is on board with it, but I just want to, double check. I have to double check with my mom too, because she's like, I want my baby out there getting flipped and thrown around. But anyway, but
Yeah.
no, but I'm gonna try to sit her down, really see where her head's at, and really start personally train her at home more often, so she can get used to really, really doing jujitsu. Because right now we do have kids classes, but we get maybe 1 or 2 kids. Like on a good day, we only have like maybe like 5 kids in our class, but we mainly get like 2 to 3. So it's like, they're not really competitive. They're just they're doing it for the for, I guess, for like an after school activity. So I'm like, okay, well, she's going to really have to learn that if you really want to do this, you really have to work. And it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of hard work. So,
Yeah.
definitely excited to see how that plays out.
Man, I tell you what, I watched a whole lot of jiu-jitsu, and the most action-packed, edge of your seat jiu-jitsu I've seen has been some little kids matches.
Been some little kids, man.
There
Oh
is
my
so
goodness.
much heart. Oh, the heart of some of these kids. They just leave everything there.
Man, I'm telling you, if I could get a tiny speck of like just drive and motivation these kids have on this mats when they're training, I'll probably be a beast.
Right?
Because like you say,
sure.
man, they just put it balls to the wall, man, just giving it everything they got. They're flipping and rolling and going for different submissions and chaining them together. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I should not be afraid of this 6-year-old right now.
And I'll tell you what, some of the funniest things you'll see these little boys, and they're just out there like walking around mean mugging, looking like a beast, and then this little girl will come in and just mop the floor with them. And you got this little girl at the end getting her hand raised with this big smile on her face, and this little boy with just tears running down his eyes, crushed. It's like, man, you gotta watch out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, these kids it's insane. And like you were saying, the level that they're getting at, with chaining submissions and just the movement and everything, it's just ridiculous how some of like these 6-7-year-olds, I can't imagine when they get into the adult divisions, it's like
they're
That's
gonna
probably
be.
time for me to stop competing.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like I think it's time for me to go ahead and hang it up.
Yep.
Cause you have to think, versus us, versus kids. What they have to focus on what school.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But we got bills, we got life situations, we got health, we got this, we got that. But all they have to do is just worry about school and showing up for training and repping these drills 101 times.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But yeah, I'm excited to really put her through the trenches and see how she comes out, because she's very she's this is her really first physical, I guess you want to say, like physical activities that she does. And there's been times where she'll be playing in class and she'll fall and she's crying, so it's like, okay, can't do that. So, like, you won't be able to do that. Like, you won't be able to just get up and just start crying and walk off the mat. It's like, no, you actually have to put forth the effort. But I've seen that in tournament, in kids tournaments too, where it's like they'll slap bump and the kid just start crying, but they're still fighting for grips and going for everything. But their faces just red, full of tears and snot, and they're like trying so hard. It's hilarious, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, get it together, little buddy, man. You got this.
Right.
But yeah, man, the kids division is very, very, very awesome.
For
very,
sure.
Very awesome. Oh man, but you got any questions for me, man? I asked you earlier if there's anything coming up with the school, any events coming up for you, the school, or any other students, man. The floor is still yours.
As far as stuff I got coming up, I think I'm gonna try. I saw that IBJJF just posted they're coming to Oklahoma City in February, and I have not had a chance to compete IBJJF since I was a blue belt. And actually it would have been February of 2020, and it was in Kansas City. And I think it was the last IBJJ event they held before everything shut down for COVID. Mm-hmm. So it's finally coming back to the area. So I think I might try that. And then American Grappling Federation has the Kansas State Championships in March, I believe, in Kansas City. So, I'm kind of in the same boat you're in. I'm really starting to push pace on cardio, stuff like that. I want to get to where I feel like I'm at my best and see how I fare, in these bigger venues, because really the smaller ones, I don't do a lot of extra training for them. I just go out there and, I got some slick stuff I can catch people in, but it's just more like, if I win, I win. If I don't, I'm just there to compete. And for these, I think I really want to focus and see what I can push my body to do. And, especially being like in some of the smaller competitions, with me being 41, there's very few people in the area in my weight class, in my rank. So I'm always getting thrown down with the adult division. Mm-hmm. And man, that's rough.
Yeah, because I'm looking at I'll kind of like go back and check the scheduling and everything else with Grappling Industries and see if anybody else is registered. But right now, I think it's I think I'm Masters plus Masters brown belt 215, and it's only me right now.
Yeah.
But there's like another brown belt. I think he's like 230s or something like that. And it's another guy that's like a couple. He's like a little bit smaller. So I'm like, okay, so just have to prepare for just turn into an absolute. But yeah, I'm excited to compete, but I'm more excited about the idea of actually going out of state to compete.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously I haven't done that at all. But just hearing all you guys come on is like yeah, man, I live here, but I've competed in Florida and in Cali. I competed here and here and here and here and here, and I'm like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah, For sure.
So yeah, man, we're definitely working on it. But I will be in touch, man, to to keep up with you and also hear hear more about your journey and how much you progress, man.
Yeah, no, same, man. I'm gonna keep an eye and see how you're doing. So, do you feel like I know you talked about in previous podcasts that you are coming down a weight, some weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on like doing structured cuts before the competition, or are you just trying to get your weight down and kind of see where it falls at that point?
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of like weight cuts like that. Cause just from like just my outside view of it and seeing just how it does to your body of constantly just up and down to your weight. And
Yeah.
I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not, it's not too many times I'm gonna be, I'm gonna cut down to 215 and then balloon up and then cut back down. So right now I'm just I figured like 215 is kind of like right in the middle of like the divisions depending on where you compete. So I'm just gonna kind of like stay right here. If I feel like I can do a little bit lighter, I'll go down, or if I want to be a little bit heavier, maybe, but no more than 5 pounds, each direction. But no, like I'm losing weight just to lose weight to get healthier, but also just to get down to division. But no, I'm not doing no like extreme weight cuts for competing.
Okay.
I'm not getting paid for this yet, so
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty terrible. I've done it. I do it quite a bit because I love to eat, and where I walk around at isn't typically where I want to compete at. But yeah, like you said, man, like as you get older, that just doesn't come off like it used to.
No.
Like it sucks. I got a guy, one of my blue belts that used to be a wrestler, like it was nothing for him to drop 15 pounds in a week. And I'm like, dude, that's insane. I'm trying to drop 5 pounds in a month.
So.
Because I've went the route where I don't eat anything. I've been dehydrated for the day before, and yeah, I'll make weight that day, but I don't do for crap, man. It's just like you're so drained, you don't have anything in you. So I don't know, kind of the weird point. I'll probably still cut some, but it's getting less and less enticing as I get older.
yeah, because like a few years back when I started, really trying to lose weight, I kept telling myself I wanted to get down to like 180. I don't know why 180. Maybe because I just want to get out of like 200 just to see and see how I look and see how I feel. Yeah. So it's still kind of up in the air, but right now, like I said, I'm just shooting for like 215, which I'm kind of like a couple pounds off from now. But just kind of like just see from there, man. See from there how I feel and look. But yeah,
right on.
But yeah, man, that's the end of today's episode. I would like to thank my guest Nick for coming on the show. I really hope you guys enjoyed our tales and some of our experiences. Please go and follow our Facebook and Instagram page to stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live Jiu-Jitsu. Have a great day. Have a great day. Have a great